your music. Leaving it at Chad Focus is in the building, his building, because this is, we over the internet on this one.
All right, y'all. So this right here say rapper makes 70K with Spotify bots. Music industry exposed. No levels necessary. Number 46, Chad Focus. I don't know, but this might be clickbait. We about to see.
Appreciate you hopping on.
Most
We're
definitely.
not just that, because as y'all see, this man has a lot of thoughts and a lot of expertise on. It's not about clearing up his story or whether he's a rapper, music or not. Like he got game when it comes to the bots. There's been a Vice special about him, right? I mean, there was other people in the special, but to me, I really saw that as a special about you,
Wow.
as like one of the kings of that world and how bots work in the music industry. But without further ado, man, again, appreciate you being on, Chad, and I want to go ahead and let you talk. We can start from where you want in that regard.
Most definitely, man. Well, appreciate it, man. Brayman Shaw, my boy Jacory, man. Appreciate y'all having me on the platform, man. It's good to be home. As you know, man, all marketing is marketing, I guess, right? All publicity is good publicity. So to be honest with you, Sean, I think at the end of the day, just being put on the everybody's radar, man. I don't know. I guess it kind of worked out for the best, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I put it like this, man. My background, Sean, man. Raised in, born and raised Baltimore, Maryland, bro. Home of Kevin Lyles, three. I'm taking
We
care
don't
of
want to
business
hear
one day at a
about you,
time,
bro.
and we
All right.
here, man. While I was away,
I
bro, they
don't.
dropped the Vice TV doc. The Vice TV doc was about how I was able to
The
kind of
chain
like
look a little
take
fake
advantage
though.
of like what was going on in the industry. Most importantly, bro, we was talking about scalping the concert tickets. So I was one of the early guys, man, that was out here inflating the concert tickets when I seen what Ticketmaster and those guys was doing. So behind the scenes, man, I've been a marketer, I've been an executive, I've been a musician, I've been anything and everything you need to be to, get the job done. So I guess I don't know where we want to start at, man. We want to start a couple years ago. We want to start when we certified focus music. Like, what about you, man?
Well, first, I wasn't aware that they dropped this Vice special while you were in, so that was recorded
Facts,
before you even went in.
facts, bro. So when I initially got arrested, bro, I got hit with what's called a no contact clause, and I got was hit with a, a gag order. So when I originally got sentenced, bro, I wasn't allowed to come on the internet and speak at all about my case. They disbanded my record label. It was sort of like the Murder Inc. situation. I woke up one day, everything was gone, bro. Stores, warehouses, cars, houses. Everybody on my label or anybody that was employed, whether it was local radio or artists, producers, I wasn't allowed to have any contact with them. So I didn't know what was going on as far as like who was in my circle that was right, who in my circle was wrong, who went to the left, who went to the right.
Correct.
I came home, bro, on house arrest. So I spent 2 years plus COVID trying to fight my case and figure out how we was going to deal with the situation. If you guys noticed, when you seen my headline, it said Chad Focus and nobody else, and it also said an unnamed company. So if you guys have seen the documentary, I was the search engine marketing executive for a company called Agora Publishing. All right, it's $1 billion firm here in Baltimore, man. They do all types of content publishing and financial
Okay.
news. I was the guy that built one of the early bot networks, and this was for like Google, man, like 12 years ago in my 20s.
A lot of people don't know this, but if you have the YouTube app on your phone,
Hey, you giving us some gems.
America making a lot of money in Wall Street. It started in content publishing first before it got to music publishing. And that's sort of like the background, guys. When I got locked up, man, the headline was dope because everybody's looking at, okay, the amount of money. And I think the clickbait was what was really popping about it, because if you didn't know about my story at all, I think that was a perfect introduction to a Baltimore rapper takes all this money from some unnamed company. And everybody went crazy. Definitely went viral. You know what I'm saying? You guys spoke about it, hit Breakfast Club, CNN, MSNBC. And while this is going on, Sean, I'm just looking at the type of money it would cost to go ahead and duplicate that kind of campaign. That's millions and millions of dollars of people covering your story. That's the type of syndication and going viral that you can't kind of predict. You can't do anything except for reverse engineer that and hope that you can pull it off again. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as far as me, bro, I had to deal with the situation. If you guys are familiar with Baltimore, that same year, our mayor got prosecuted by the same prosecutor. We lost our police commissioner. We had a couple lawyers that's really prominent where I'm from. Chad Focus got locked up. And right now, bro, the same exact prosecutors also attacking Marilyn Mosby. She's the young black lady here in Baltimore, bro, that did the Freddie Gray case when they killed the cops. So we got a lot of stuff going on in Baltimore that if you hip to like politics and what's going on as far as your power players in Baltimore, we all going through a kind of shakedown right now.
Interesting. So the story, like you said, I remember doing the video on you, and like you said, there are a lot of other people that talked about the video, and I know you say all publicity is good publicity, and kind of gave a light to, hey, there's this rapper in Baltimore. But at the same time, I feel like most of the people, their perception of you was like, who's this guy? Like, to be frank, like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Like, how he spend this much money? I don't know who this artist is still, and he's wasteful. How you spend that much money, and you're not the most popular artist in the world. As you know, I didn't talk about it that way in terms of the video, but like that was the energy I saw. I think even in my comment section and other people who talked about it. So, like, how was it seeing that vibe that was coming from things?
You know what's crazy, bro? It was weird to me because I put it like this: as far as like being in the music industry, man, I got some extremely power players, that I'm associated with. So if you get to dial back to like the documentary, you'll see I'm tapped in with your executives, your people at 300 Entertainment. I've been to Billboard. We did Revolt TV. I'm cool with Dantavio, Double XL, all the platforms, right? And so what my job to do was, Sean, was kind of like expose the industry for what it is, bro. For somebody like myself, I did have a huge budget, and I did everything that you could do as far as a major artist, but I did it independently. So for me to have the biggest billboard in New York City, not for just, a couple months, bro, for an entire year. This wasn't a digital billboard. This was vinyl, right? So I got the Citibank building. I got 42nd Street. I had the biggest billboards in the entire city. Now, if nobody paid attention to those, that meant that anybody could go ahead and buy that kind of marketing. That means that you can say whatever you want on any type of platform, and nobody actually does any checks and balances. All right, from the marketing game. So when I said I was the #1 artist in the world, I think having the biggest billboard and just being out here and dragging your nuts, you know what I'm saying? That right there qualified as being the #1 market in the world, right? In my mind. Now, if somebody else would have done that billboard, whether it's a Jay-Z or Drake, which y'all have noticed, that's the thing. I can go ahead and buy billboards. That was a slick way for me to not do payola to get my records on the radio. You understand what I'm saying? I was more concerned with becoming rich and successful than actually becoming famous, because we all know how that go, bro. A lot of these guys in the industry are famous, but they don't got a pot to piss in. They don't own their masters. They don't own their publishing. They don't own their rights. They don't own their likeness. So I was just taking a reverse process, bro. I was working backwards. Like, if we get successful and I get all the connections, I lock in with all the DJs. I got all of my situations set up as far as my sound exchanges, bro, my BMIs, my distribution. We can figure out the famous part at the back end. I'm doing all the same things the famous guys is doing. You understand what I'm saying? We going on trips. We taking everybody to BET Awards. I'm performing with Lil Baby, Moneybagg Yo, Fat Joe, Rick Ross. At the end of the day, becoming viral for what happened, people could go back and see what we did. Like, there's no way this guy shouldn't have been famous. He got a record with T-Pain, the best record that T-Pain put out in the last 4 or 5 years. Not the one with Tory Lanez when he did a remix of his old record. Not the joint with Dreezy. We got Dance With Me. You go listen to the music, and you actually listen to music, you be like, yo, Dance With Me is popping, it's fire. You go look at all the DJs I had planted, from your DJ SNSs to your DJ Epps to Sus One. I can go down the line of everybody on the DJ pool that played my record. I can go down the days that I was on Power 105 and your Hot 97s. So all of this is happening, bro, and everybody acting like they're not paying attention. But if I'd assigned to an Empire, Sean, or Interscope, or Atlantic, it would have been a lot more energy around my movement, as if it was like a Cardi B or your A Boogies of those guys. So it really was for me to show, like, yo, look, if you're an independent artist, it's a ceiling. It's a ceiling that you got no matter what your budget looks like or your skill set or how many resources you got, bro. And that's just how the industry works. So you got to accept the successes that you do get. You might not be mainstream, but your success might be mainstream. Extremely wealthy.
Why do you think it works like that?
Well, you gotta understand it's control, bro.
Don't skip that ad. In the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna show you how to start a business on Shopify. Go to shopify.com and sign up for your free trial. That was so easy. Find a product to sell, upload your picture of the socks, and design.
The system is controlled by the guys. Yo, we do got gatekeepers. We do got to respect what the industry is, right? It's also a reason why guys like me and you didn't exist as far as your platform and my platform 10 years ago, 20 years ago, because we the information, bro. Not only are y'all the information, I'm the case study. So I'm the one that walked in all these different buildings, bro. I'm the one that knows how the bots work. I'm the one that knows about your media base, you know, how you can go ahead and pay to get on your radio stations, your playlists. The artists that we love, guys, they aren't involved in this process because they don't own the records. They don't own the actual product. So as far as making a product become a mainstream thing, as far as getting the brand out to the people, they're not in those rooms. They're not a part of those marketing discussions. You understand what I'm saying? They're not a part of those balance sheet discussions or those loan discussions or what kind of money we putting up. These guys are just the creative, bro. So the guys that we come to love, man, the ones that we see in the face, they aren't a part of the decision making.
Quick second, have you ever seen an artist catch some traction and then they start to move? The numbers start to grow, they might even go viral, but then fast forward a year from now, somehow their numbers haven't really grown that much. They dropped back close to the same monthly listeners they had before the traction and viral moment. Well, that's because you have to know how to convert those moments into careers. And we've done this again and again with not only songs, but artists. And so has J.R. McKee, who's been a part of helping artists like Lil Durk, Rod Wave, Justine Skye, and Money Long. And we just did a collab where J.R. McKee does a step-by-step breakdown of how he took Money Long from 0 to millions of monthly listeners and winning.
You feel like they don't know about how much money it takes, media based of like trending topics that I think fall within your expertise. But before I even get to that, you just talked about some things that you feel like they don't know about, how much money it takes, media based, all these things. So explain media based and why that's important.
All right, so look, you know, in your local city, man, you got the DJs that you feel like are popping, right? You got the guys that everybody knows. What you got to realize is that there are certain DJs that are affiliated with what's called media base, where when they play your record, the statistics count towards you actually charting. They count towards you actually getting paid for your performance royalties and your mechanical royalties. So in your local city, you might be the man, but nobody has ever heard your record in any of these college towns, Vegas, Montana, Detroit. Nobody knows who you are outside of your market. So what I did, Sean, that was different is that I affiliated myself with different DJ pools, your core DJs, your coalition DJs, your Vertigos, your MP3 Wax, all of your DJ pools. And then I specifically sought out the DJs that was also affiliated with Media Base, which means that I need you guys playing my record on the mix shows. I need to be a part of the 9 p.m. rotation. I want the strip club plays. I want the inner club plays. So not only do I want to build, not only do I want to become successful, I want that shit to count. I want these marketing dollars to count towards the statistics. When you go log into Music Connect, when you go log into Nielsen, I want that shit to actually count towards me becoming a Billboard charting artist. I want my Spotify streams to count. So it was stuff that I learned, bro, early on. Like, we like SoundCloud. SoundCloud doesn't count towards you getting your RIAA certifications. You understand what I'm saying? You can go ahead and use your Audio Max. You can go ahead and use your datpiff.coms, which we place the emphasis on as far as building audiences, but that shit don't translate to dollars. So I started to learn, man, that clout and popularity didn't translate to money. And I was trying to find an equal balance, Sean.
So with the media-based specific DJs, so I know about like the coalition ones, you know, like the MP3 Wax ones. Like how are you able to tell which of these DJs are a part of that? Is it just you networking, you talking, and it comes up, or is there like a space where you were able to see like, hey, these are the DJs I need to go rock with to make this plan work the way I needed to?
Let me ask you this. Have y'all ever heard of a app called Spinfire? Are y'all familiar with Spinfire at all?
No, I'm not.
I've heard it. I don't know what it is.
Six years ago, me and Rollo, shout out to my boy Rollo, he's still locked down. Me and Rollo was the face of an independent app called Spinfire. And the idea of it was to take independent artists or major artists and their records, and for us to have a quality control check-in for when they were actually breaking our records. You know how it is. Somebody breaks your record, they tag you, they go ahead and send you a video. What if you could see those statistics? Now, we market the guys, man. We understand the money is in the data. So if we can't see that we spent $1,000 and how much that translated into as far as plays or reach or downloads, it don't make sense for us. So for me to have a big budget and for me to go to the DJ pool and they be like, give me $15,000, we're going to send you in all the cities, make sure you popping. I had to go out here and hit the boots, hit the ground running, and find and meet these DJs specifically and ask them, yo, bro, are you media-based certified? Are you acclimated? Can we help you? How can I provide value to you as a DJ? You need help branding? All right, cool. You need a clothing line, you need some merch. So I started to build relationships which still exist today, fellas, that was bigger than just being an artist. It was about trying to build an infrastructure. Certain DJs don't even have a clue about media base. So some of them think they the guy, bro, but you playing in the minor leagues. You know, we trying to play in the big leagues. Your biggest artists and your biggest record labels, they have an assortment of media-based DJs. They know exactly who to send a record to not only make a splash as far as your clout, as far as your social media, but also in the industry. Just like you guys know how the Oscars and the Grammy Awards work, not everybody's opinion matters. So this media-based thing, man, is real specific. They also only want to play records of proven artists. So that's why I did Dance With Me, and then I did a Dance With Me remix with T-Pain, because people might not understand that his resume alone is bigger than 90% of artists in the world. He got some of the most Grammys, some of the most features. So yeah, to us, he might not be relevant at that time, but to the industry, Chad Focus and T-Pain remix was the biggest shit they was talking about behind closed doors and important rooms.
Now we just talked about networking last episode and bringing value to people, and having something that you take to bring to the table, right? A mutual exchange. And it sounds like, if I understood that correctly, not only did you find media-based DJs, it sounds like you helped some DJs get access to media-based and be certified that way, right?
100%.
So you just gave me a sell. It's like, hey, bro, yeah, you already got the skills. You're doing what you're doing, but you're not even getting fully recognized on the level that you should be. So you plug me in now. Of course, I'm gonna be like, yo, this is my guy. I'm gonna play Chad whenever I can.
Man, Sean, listen, bro. I'm from Baltimore, bro. I don't know if you know any Baltimore artists. We got Young Moose, we got YBS Scholar, Lil Scooter was here. Like, you guys might not be familiar with some of these guys. I don't know if you know maybe the biggest artist you might know from Baltimore, Shorty Shorty. You heard of Shorty Shorty?
Yeah.
Shorty, the biggest shit in Baltimore. Do you know that they do not play his records here in Baltimore? Nowhere. No clubs, no strip clubs, no parties, no functions, no bowling parties, no birthday parties. Specifically, these DJs will not support a local artist who is bigger than just being local. Yo, he don't make the sound that we like. He don't make a record for us. He don't pull up in a strip club. My nigga, he's at Coachella. You understand what I'm saying? He's not coming to Norma Jeans, bro. He's at Coachella, bro. He's headlining, bro. He's on the B side and the A side. He's marketing across the world. So what you'll notice is that when you become too big, yo, for your local market, especially in a place like this, it can also hinder you. All right. So behind the scenes, Sean, I was playing a role like what you and Jacoby are playing, which is I was informing the guys about the game. I didn't create Focus Music to become the artist. I had 6 artists. They all my family members, guys. I signed them to the record situation. What I learned from them is that, yo, being an artist is more about hard work than talent. I need a guy on my team that goes to sleep last and wakes up first. Well, that was me. You understand what I'm saying? I watched how Drake and Kanye West build their situation. Yo, I'm paying them for artists. I had 6 artists. They all my family members, guys. I signed them to the record situation. What I learned from them is that, yo, being an artist is more about hard work than talent. I need a guy on my team that goes to sleep last and wakes up first. Well, that was me. You understand what I'm saying? I watched how Drake and Kanye West build their situation. Yo, I'm paying the producers. I'm paying the writers. I'm paying the ghostwriters. I own all the equipment. I own the studio. I wake up. I work hard. I eat good. I take care of my family. So all the intangibles as far as being an artist, guys, I had that easily. I played ball growing up.
If your business kept employees on payroll throughout the pandemic, Innovation Refunds can see if it may qualify for a payroll tax refund. All it takes is 8 minutes to get started. To date, our clients have claimed over $3 billion, but it's only available for a limited time. Go to innovationrefunds.com to learn more.
Hey, do you know where Lisa is?
Do you think she's drinking without us?
Do you think she's meeting with someone?
Let's take a look at your code.
Hitting some epic clubs?
It sucks that spring break's almost over.
Can you believe some people actually like their jobs?
Learning how to become a musician and do the artwork wasn't the hardest part. It was about assembling the team and letting the guys that was around me know, yo, be humble enough to know that, yo, I might just be what we need to get this movement off the ground. Yeah, you might rap better, but I sell better. Yeah, you might perform better, but I entertain better. And it also comes down to interviewing and branding and being a people person, bro, and being egoless. So if the richest guy in a room doesn't mind being a janitor, it's certain attributes, it's going to allow you to be a successful artist. That's why my story, bro, is so important, because it's bigger than hip hop. When you're doing Vice TV, bro, and it goes to CNN, and you see these young guys that look like me and you, we can talk this talk. We understand this marketing. We understand bots. We understand engineering and algorithm. We understand networking. I'm doing podcasts, bro, on platforms I never thought I'd be on before. It extends past hip hop. But I'm glad to sit with you brothers, because y'all consciously understand, like, this is what's next. These conversations people don't have. Now we can do it all. We can talk about all the jewelry. We can talk about all the money. That's cool, bro. But what about the impact? The impact is that, right now we sparking a conversation that you guys been in the game for a minute. And without me being known, I got more media-based DJs than Interscope Records, Atlantic Records. I could take a record right now with the right budget and go #1. We talk about the budget, right? The budget, what QC say, what, $200,000, $250,000?
Yeah.
That's because you got to pay the right people at one time to play your record in unison. It got to happen at the right time. If you're going to go out here and you're going to do the bots, you can't do the bots to a certain type of level unless you are signed to a major label. So that's where I went wrong at, fellas. I tweaked the system and the algorithm independently, and they got different structures and they got different ways to go ahead and find out when you're gaming the system and you're not a major artist. I can't do what a 50 Cent or a French Montana or a Lil Baby can do. It's only so much that even if I got an unlimited budget, if I do a certain amount of numbers of streams on Spotify, they're going to fucking trigger that. It's going to trigger the fraud detection.
Now, if you are a major artist, they'll still detect it, but they're gonna let it go, right?
Yeah, they're gonna let it go, Sean. And not only that, you got to realize, me and places like Sony and whatnot, they all got stakes in the Spotify. So if you think about why the system makes sense, if Sony is paying for the bots to get streamed, boom, the artist is blowing up inorganically, organically. Everybody's going to win at the end of the day because you're building up a star. So now they're going to come back to Spotify to find Lil Baby. Sony's made money. Spotify made money. They in bed together. The artist is making their, profile bigger. So if you got Chad Focus and I'm doing the same amount of numbers as Lil Baby and I own all my publishing, all my masters, and I'm recouping my own money, it's no benefit for you. If any independent artist and a couple street dudes with their own bag and their own intel can come and master the system like that, bro, they can't win no more. So my job was to break the industry and to show everybody how you could break it. If you own everything, you do your own marketing, you write the marketing off, you build your profile. Now you got an audience. So we could just use their platforms to build our own audience and monetize it like that. Like a La Russell, you know what I'm saying? Like your Ryan Leslie's, who people don't speak about. One of the most genius things you ever done is came up with a superphone app, connecting directly with your clientele. You think about a Nipsey Hussle. These guys is geniuses, bro. They bigger than just being artists. These guys are pioneers as far as how you can really be an artist independently to another level, bro. Nobody speaks about that as much as they should.
Yeah, man. You actually just confirmed something I said a couple episodes ago. Remember I said, like, the industry doesn't care about the bot thing because of morality. They care about it because they want to make sure they can control the people, like, gaming the system, right? Like, if I don't have any skin in your game, why do I want you to succeed that way? So now that you've known that and you experienced that, has it changed your approach to, like, how you're running some of these marketing strategies, knowing that, like, you might hit a ceiling where you have to, like, get over that hump, or are you still running things the exact same way?
I put it like this, because what it did, bro, is it helped me kind of like it actually helped me out. It helped me kind of see, like, where the loopholes were. You guys know how all loopholes work. And so what I say is this: the artists that contact me and that want to work now, I know it's a certain ceiling that they can go through. So I'll give you guys my exact blueprint. I could care less if Spotify knows about it, doesn't know about it. Like, I'm gonna get paid regardless, right? They banned my artist profile, so Chad Focus is no longer on Spotify. But what they can't ban is your metadata, because if they ban your metadata, they got to ban everybody's metadata. There's certain artists that have been able to re-upload their tracks, but they had to change the name because there's different levels of fraud detection that's going to happen. All right. For me personally, I got over 200 records in BMI. The scale you're allowed to do as an independent artist every day is 3,000 streams or below. So if I got 200 records and I'm doing 3,000 streams or below, I can do around 600,000 streams a day. You understand what I'm saying? But I got to do it through knows about it, doesn't know about it. Like, I'm gonna get paid regardless, right? They banned my artist profile. So Chad Focus is no longer on Spotify. But what they can't ban is your metadata, because if they ban your metadata, they got to ban everybody's metadata. There's certain artists that have been able to re-upload their tracks, but they had to change the name because there's different levels of fraud detection that's going to happen. All right. For me personally, I got over 200 records in BMI. The scale you're allowed to do as an independent artist every day is 3,000 streams or below. So if I got 200 records and I'm doing 3,000 streams or below, I can do around 600,000 streams a day. You understand what I'm saying? But I got to do it through an assortment of records. So I'm not allowed to have one record blow up, but I understand how I'm gonna get paid every day. So if I can do 600,000 streams a day times 30 days in a month, I know how to do my 18 million streams. I still know how to make my $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. It's by becoming an independent label, which they don't want us to be as young black men. Own all of your artwork, put your guys on your paperwork, build it up together, and become a brand, become a label. So that's how I make my money now, guys, because I understand how to spread the love. Prior to this, Get to the Money was my record, Dance With Me was my record. I was running up the streams 1 million a day, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. And it was like, yo, how's this kid doing more streams than your Taylor Swift, your Uzi Verts, your Kodak Blacks, your Drakes? It just wasn't working for them. So that's really how I charted, guys, because I was out here trying to break that shit and let it be known, like, yeah, we figured it out. And it's not for me as far as being an artist, guys. I'm like you guys. At the end of the day, I love the music, I love the culture, yo, but I love the game more than that.
Yeah, I got you. So it sounds like the strategy changed from how can I blow up this single to be as big as possible to like, no, how can I just focus on making my entire catalog be so big that it escapes under the radar? Is that what you're saying?
Big facts. Big facts, Jacoby. And that's how I communicate with the artists that come to me now. Like, yo, bro, if you want to do 1 million streams, give me an album. Give me an album and give me 30 days and let's make it make sense. And if the algorithm takes off or people like this record and the way that we put it on different playlists and we move shit around, then you're going to know which record works for you. So let the data tell you. If you're an artist, the one thing I want you to know if you're watching Contraband Agency is let the audience, let the people tell you what the record is. Just do the initial marketing. You'll figure it out. You'll figure out what they like. And then you go ahead and put your budget behind that record full force and your visuals and everything you got going on. So that's a campaign. So I like to do that, guys. I like to figure out what's working first before I go ahead and scale up.
Got you. Yeah. So, were you about to ask something?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say while we're on the subject of bots, I want people listening who haven't seen like the Bite special and just heard that headline that I noted about you at the beginning to know it goes a lot deeper than you're just a guy who's using bots. You know what I'm saying? Like you really are in that world. You're moving at a higher intellect than someone would give credit for just any artist using bots. So can you explain how you got into the bot world, why you're, and, the inner workings of it, just so people get a story of, get a better understanding of just even how it works beyond just, hey, you're an artist and you find somebody to pay for your bots.
Thanks. All right. So look, as of right now, it's crazy, guys. Like I said, I just came home in January. I'm coming home, man. I'm looking at artificial intelligence and Chat GPT, and I'm like, oh, wow, this about to be a wrap, bro. Y'all see where artificial intelligence is going. Like videos, content, editing, copywriting, like the world about to change right before our eyes. Mm-hmm. I was into the bots and engineering, fellas, 2011. And I got into the marketing world. And it first started, guys, with the search engine, which is Google, Yahoo, Bing. Companies pay me lots of money to help them rank on the first page of Google.
Dialpad's AI sales has completely transformed how we sell. AI is built right in with live coaching, speed dialing, note-taking, objection handling, and more. So we can close deals even faster. Ooh.
Why don't you own commercial real estate? Yes, you. Why don't you own commercial property? After all, just one commercial deal can dramatically impact your financial life forever. Just imagine one commercial.
Because if they had certain keywords that was bringing them traffic, they didn't have to spend money on paid advertising. The best client is an organic client, somebody who feels like they found something. But people don't realize organic is just a strategy. It's just a term, fellas. It's just a strategy. It's just a way that people feel like they found something. It's a fulfillment. Mm-hmm. You can either do paid or you can do organic. When I came in the game, bots were used to manipulate the search engines to make people's content show up higher than others. So if you got YouTube and your name is Brandman Sean, and you're doing a video on Gucci Mane, and it's 20 million people searching for Gucci Mane that day, and your video shows up first, Sean gonna get 18 million of those views. He probably gonna be rich overnight off of advertisements and clicks and whatever else he's doing. He might have to invest in his visibility. So Sean doesn't have to be Hot 97 or Complex or DJ Academics or Say Cheese if he got a guy like me, because I can use bots to make Sean an authority for whatever content he's posting on the internet. So that was the initial way I got into this lane. I was working for Wall Street companies that weren't as big as Wall Street Journal, that weren't as big as The Street, and they wanted their financial news information to show up in front of everybody in the world. So I learned how to tweak the game to help publishers in the financial news space get visibility for big, big projects. They paid me a lot of money based off the front end and the back end sales. So I became a millionaire, guys, in my early 20s. When I seen how that industry worked, this was before Spotify, Tidal, and Apple Music came out. When that came out, the same exact contractors I was using from Upwork, guys, and Fiverr.com, they transitioned right along with me from the Google search engines to social media to YouTube. Social media, YouTube, Google, the one thing that nobody has a conversation with, Spotify, they're all search engines in their own respects. They're just search engines for different topics and different niches. The concept is exactly the same. So the ability to tweak an algorithm based on traffic, views, likes, comments, streams is synonymous in every industry, fellas. So this don't just start and stop, with the music industry. This shit is everywhere. You can tweak this shit any and everywhere. If you understand the music industry, labels been buying artists' records forever. If you go back to 50 Cent and you go back to Kanye West, they were buying those records to make sure one guy went platinum. They were making sure that you went number one on Billboard, because you were number one, then clout took over and then people really came to buy the records and engage. So being number one has always been the goal, whether you were in the music industry, whether you was in different publishing world. And that's how I got started with the bots, guys. I've been building one of the biggest bot networks for the last 12 to 13 years. When I was indicted, the conversation that nobody had was that Chad Focus took $4 million and we feel like he invested into the Chad Focus brand. A lot of the headlines that people took was that he invested this money into the music industry. Now y'all know I'm too intelligent to take $4 million and not have 50 number one hits and not to get a Drake fucking feature and all this other shit. So that was just bullshit. The idea was to make it look like I was fucking ignorant, because if he got all this money and he got records and he don't blow up, y'all need to stick with us. It was a shot at us. Like, y'all niggas ain't smart. Y'all better come and stick with us. Y'all gonna come and buck the system. Is you crazy? Is y'all Lonzo Ball's father? Is you LeVar Ball? You're not sending your son over to Turkey and he becoming the number 3 pick and he's LaMelo Ball. They don't want that, bro. That's how you see how they attack anything that doesn't make sense to them. So I was something that didn't make sense because I was a threat to the entire industry, fellas. If you can't keep these niggas stupid and you can't keep people uninformed, then guess what? You can't control them. So when you look at your Michael Jacksons, bro, and you look at your Princes and you look at all the information they was giving us, people don't talk about that, bro. They don't talk about how Mike owned half the industry and all the publishing. They don't talk about how Prince changed his name, bro, because he just wanted to be compensated for what he invested in his projects. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what it was, bro. I figured out the game. I made a lot of money in a lot of different industries, bro. This is just bigger than the bigger than music, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's much bigger. Like I said, we can talk about the Ticketmaster, billboards.
Yeah, I actually want to get right into that. Ja'Cory, you just brought up the story about Drake.
Yeah.
Right. So I want you to tell Chad that story just in case he doesn't know it already. And then I want you to start talking about your ticket scalping background as well.
Facts.
Yeah. So the story that's circulating now is Ticketmaster's kind of catching some heat because people realize that they're scalping like Drake tickets, really using some like, I think what we talk about off camera, like some high level marketing tactics, but at the end of the day, it's scalping, right? So what they did was, I might be wrong, but I think it was a New York show that Drake was having come around, and Ticketmaster was pushing the whole narrative like, hey, like this is Drake, one New York show. You know what I'm saying? It was being reported like Drake wanted a certain price for the tickets, but then Ticketmaster like upscaled the prices. And it was running real hard, this narrative like, hey, this is the last day to buy tickets. This is the last day. They sell out the tickets. Then the very next day, Drake releases like another New York date or something, right? So it's a lot of people in the Ticketmaster audience saying like, hey, y'all finessed us into buying these tickets. And, Drake is kind of like, hey, that's not me. That's Ticketmaster, you know what I'm saying? Doing all this thing. They got nothing to do with me. But like, that's essentially what it's coming down to. They're raising prices on Drake's ticket to be higher than I guess what the team was trying to sell them for.
Yeah.
they're tricking the audience into feeling like this is the last time you can get certain things when like Drake has other plans to release other dates.
Hey, look, hey, Jacory, I was doing this 7 years ago, and I was doing it.
Events are back, you guys. Events are back. They're booking speakers like you. They're paying them $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000, and they're back. The world is open. I got an email from a client the other day, actually a former client. He said, "Hey, Taylor, I'd really like for you to come and speak in Guatemala and El Salvador." I said, "I'm interested. You know, what's the offer?" He said, I'll give you business class flights. I'll put you up at really nice hotels. I'll show you around."
Early before I became an artist. So I'm gonna break this down to y'all. Y'all gonna lose your minds with this one. Lil Baby and Moneybagg, yo, this is before Lil Baby was who he is today. This is before he was 200 occasion, whatever that Lil Baby version is. This is Lil Baby at $30,000 a show. Yeah. This is Lil Baby at $30,000 a show, and Chad Focus at $500,000 a show. And the way that you do it is, Ticketmaster is going to go ahead and, if you make a deal with them and you're going to be a promoter, you can go ahead and buy out a venue. So let's just say you buy out MeQ Pavilion or you buy out Madison Square Garden. You pay them up front. They want to get 30% of whatever you do as far as a net. The day that the tickets come out, you got something called a fire sale, guys, or early bird sale, which means that you could probably get the tickets for less the first day of. Mm-hmm. What companies like Ticketmaster were doing and record labels were doing is they were buying out 80% of the tickets the day of at the lowest price that you could. All right. Because now, once you guys understand why this is genius, they can write that money off as marketing. So they giving your radio station tickets, they giving tickets to the kids, they giving tickets to the artists, they doing all types of promotional things with those tickets. But now the concert looks like, yo, this shit about to be jamming. Like, yo, this joint almost sold out. Yo, you gotta get you a ticket before there's none left. Now, Ticketmaster owns those tickets, bro. They now are going to upsell them for 200, 300, 400% the markup. The week before the concert releases, you got 20% of people that actually bought the tickets because it looked like it was sold out and they really want to go to the show. That week, they start to re-release tickets. It starts to look like people was refunding tickets, so you got a spot available. Ticketmaster is just re-releasing their tickets back on the platform. So now if they bought it at $50, you now can buy it at $100, $200, $300, $400. They're going to always break even for life, guys. They will never, ever miss. They know how this game works. By the night of the concert, that Friday night, they're going to release even more tickets, but then they're going to put them on third-party websites, your Eventbrite, your StubHubs, and now they're going to sell them from $50 to $500, thousands of dollars, $2,000. By the day of the concert, they're going to have their own ticket scalpers in the street that work for them. The guys that me and y'all know that we want to go to a basketball game, we want to go to a Drake concert, we call Mike up, and he got the tickets for us. You guys know what I'm talking about. Everybody has a street team, all right? The day of the concert is called urgency, and it's called scarcity. And we are marketers. It's the same thing they do with PlayStation. It's the same thing they do with Jordan. Same thing we do with Yeezy. You buy up the market, you make it unavailable, and then you make it available for people that are desperate enough to pay whatever they want to get their hands on it. There's enough people that have money that will pay any price for a Drake ticket, a Taylor Swift ticket, a Beyonce ticket. And they've been doing this forever, guys. From Metallica, Drake, Jay-Z, Beyonce. The first concert that I did that at, guys, was Jay-Z and Beyonce's On a Run tour. I took my entire hood, 50 people, and then I sold those tickets that I had left over that were front row tickets for $100 grand. So I took my whole hood for free, spent 50 grand, and then I sold the other $150,000 tickets for $100 grand. So I was making money, taking my homies back and forth with me, putting them front row, and I started to figure out, like, okay, this is what Ticketmaster and this is what the Live Nation and these guys do. And if you're an artist, you just want to show up and make sure that your concert is sold out. You don't really care about ticket sales. You don't really care about record sales. You just want to do your job. So if y'all look at interviews, right, and they ask these guys, do you care what your first week sales are? What they always say? No, I just want the people to have the music. That's not what the execs are saying. That's not what the marketing guys are saying. No, nigga, we got to break even. We got to triple. So when you got a concert, concerts get canceled by them not being able to do the pre-sales, guys. So those Taylor Swift tickets that y'all seen, I can guarantee you that 75% of those were bought by somebody internally that made that entire craze about the Taylor Swift tickets, that made me and you talk about it. So even with this Drake thing that's happening right now, guys, it's marketing. All publicity, good publicity. The concert going to sell out and you're going to go see Drake.
Now, I'll break this down, though. With that in mind, now that people have a sense of how that works, drop that Lil Baby concert story.
So here we go. Lil Baby concert, Chad Focus. This is I'm the most unknown guy that ever got paid the most for, like, you know, being an opening act, guys. I'm gonna break it down for y'all. If you local, you know that promoters are going to go ahead and charge you, and the local guys are come and perform for your acts that come to your city, your Yo Gotti's, your Rick Rosses. Y'all familiar with that, right? We all from that game. So I always had my homeboys, and they would perform, and it'd be nobody in the crowd. Like, why are you paying $5,000 to perform for Rick Ross and Rick Ross fans on here, bro? You performing at 2 o'clock, and he performs at 9 o'clock. So what I did that was different is I said, you know what? I'm gonna be a promoter. I need ownership over the merch. I need ownership over the marketing. I need ownership over the visuals. I need control of certain things, and I want a certain percentage of the tickets. I want this percentage of the front end. I want this percentage of the back end. So I negotiated what I call an amazing leverage deal. I'll take care of the venue. I'll take care of paying Lil Baby what he wants, which we had a team of guys and promoters that paid Lil Baby. So he gets his 30,000. Moneybagg Yo gets his 40,000. You got the concert, you got the venue, and you got the mainstream acts. Now, all I got to do as a marketer is find the audience that wants to see Lil Baby and Moneybagg Yo. Next thing you know, I make it as a co-headlining situation. Come see Chad Focus and Friends, Lil Baby, and Moneybagg Yo. Now, and I know I can't pack a venue with 6,000 people by myself, but I can probably bring 200 to 300 people. I can bring some of my other local artists, and they can bring 200, 300 people. But Lil Baby and Moneybagg Yo is going to bring them other 4,000 to 5,000 people. But when you look at them flyers, when you look at the promo and you see me all over it, you hear my voice, you see my content, you see my merch, it looks like it's a Focus ran event. So as the promoter and the co-headlining artist, I was able to sell out the venue. And then I was able to oversell the venue out because I gave away a bunch of different tickets. I did exactly what you guys see Drake doing. I brought out all the tickets with my credit card a month before the concert for $40. I relisted them a month later for $100 so I could make my $60 flip. I made sure all the other promoters got paid. I made sure all the other Ticketmaster guys got paid. I released another 1,000 tickets on StubHub, guys, for $500, $600, $700, $800. I gave away 400, 500 tickets to kids that was in my hood that never got to go to a concert, that never got to go ahead and see their favorite artist up close and personal. And then I let all the local acts from my hoods perform for free.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this room as my office. But the desk is over here, and
next thing you know, Chad Focus, Lil Baby, Moneybagg Yo, I performed in front of a sold-out crowd. I own a visual of those guys performing, and now we legendary. We made $250,000 net profit because the money I invested was $250,000 as far as your artists, getting the venue, doing all of the marketing, and being able to go ahead and upsell the right records, the tickets for a certain amount of money. That was the game changer, bro. So if I could have done that over and over again, bro, that was also one of the biggest situations before I went to prison. I was doing this to concerts I wasn't performing at. So I planned on starting a tour with all of your biggest artists, from your Young Dolls to your Rick Rosses to your Lil Waynes. I was going to be the co-headlining act, and I was going to make money than all the mainstream artists because I was going to be the promoter and I was going to be the artist.
Scalping your own concert, bro. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Best part. Best
right?
part about the headline, Sean, is they say, yo, he brought $125,000 to his own concert. They never gave nobody no context. So I just never argued. You understand what I'm saying? It was a great headline. Yeah, like if I did that and nobody came to the concert, I think we've seen that before. We've seen people try to embellish who they was. They got fake followers. They throw a concert, nobody shows up. My shit was different. Spent $125,000 in marketing, $125,000 to throw the event. I made $250,000 and I only performed 2 songs. So that was the conversation on Vice TV, is what happens when an artist figures out the same process as Live Nation and does it himself independently. It's also another reason that the industry is scared as shit of Chad Focus, because these are the conversations that we have on this platform that not me, Sean, but L.A. Russell or Jadakiss or those guys see. They got people that are paying them a small portion of the pie to come and perform. So what if they bring in the promotion side in-house? What if they start doing that themselves? You understand what I'm saying? The promoters be making a killing. But if you're an artist and you really want to be a boss, you got to be your own promoter. You got to be your own manager. You got to make sure that you take care of everything in-house.
Yeah. And you see that a lot with talent, right? When the ones who figure out how to make the money is no different than Floyd having his own promotion company. You're like, yeah, I'm a boxer, but now I got to own a promotions company. Now I'm promoting for other fighters and I'm promoting for myself so I can get the big cut, right? So like bringing it in-house is big. And I feel like, I don't know, man, some artists, they don't want to do all that though. And they hate that the game is that way. What do you say to those artists?
I feel bad for them because you got to be from, you know how a lot of niggas say they from the mud or whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean, then you're not really hungry, bro. I got too many mouths to feed, bro. I can't let certain dollars go out the window. I'm gonna put any and everybody to work. Like it's a mentality to me. You understand what I'm saying? And you got to look at the people that we working for. They about to figure it out. If you're a boss show, you figure it out. So guess what? Build your team, bro. You only as solid as your network and your team. That's why guys like Sean and Jacoby, that's why you guys is the shit in the industry, because if you can't figure it out, you outsource, go. You know what I'm saying? You split some money.
I can't let you mess my guy up name again. Well, just call him Corey. It's Jacory.
Jacory, my fault, Jacory, man. I apologize, bro.
You had it right the first time.
Sean and Jacory, I apologize, big brother. but what I meant from that, Jacory, though, is you know, I think that people should go ahead and build their team, bro, and also put people in position. And y'all can help out a lot of people, and these artists could find people. His help is there. But I don't think that they understand that you got to share a bit of the pie and you got to be informed about what's going on. So getting taken advantage of is a choice. Not knowing certain information that you guys know, it's a choice now.
Yeah, and I think too, like, you know, touch on Sean's point, I think the most successful people in music realize that at the end of the day, this is really just a game, right? And so it's like, if I go play Monopoly and Sean reads me the Monopoly rules, I'm like, man, I don't really fuck with those Monopoly rules. Sean's gonna be like, well, it's the only way you can win. You know what I'm saying? You have to play within the rules of the game if you want to beat me, right? And I think that's what a disconnect is. Artists will come in not realizing there are rules to the game. They'll learn the rules to the game, but oh, that's not right. That's not fair. And then people like us are like, well, it is what it is. So I'm gonna go figure out how to at least play it before I start trying to change things. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen that a lot just with what I consider to be successful and unsuccessful artists. The most successful artists, even they put out the image that they won't play the game, when you talk to them behind the scenes, it's a completely different story. You know what I'm saying? They're like, no, I did this because I need to do this, and my manager put me on this game, and that's what made this go. So like, I guess the question I want to tie on that to you is like, what was the moment when you realized like this was a game you kind of had to play, right? Like I like asking artists, like, when was the moment you got your rose tinted glasses kind of knocked off about the industry and realized you had to play it a certain way? So what was that like for you? Like, what made that click for you?
So the program director here in Baltimore, man, where I'm at, me and him went to high school together, right? And so you pretty much figuring out like, all right, we got a relationship. We know each other from Sandbox. He's definitely going to take a good record and play the record. Hell no. He wouldn't even give me the information on how to get my record in Mediabase and Nielsen so that I was allowed to, you know, do what I need to do to get it onto the actual radio. So what I did that was different is I found out what the radio was actually meant for. It was meant for advertising. I started an internship at the radio station and I hopped right into the marketing department. So I went to the guys that were above your program directors and artists. This is a big thing for you to understand. You don't even need to go to the program directors. You go deal with the guys up top, which is the marketing coordinators and the advertising coordinators. And you let them know I got product and I got a brand. And I want to put my product and brand in front of your audience. And I also want to be supported as an artist. So I started to buy advertisements on a radio station, fellas, with my music as a part of the background. So I started learning how to get ad spots and get paid, one, for my music on that basic level. And then I built the relationships in the advertising and marketing department. When I became a client, then I became more important than just the artist. So then my opinion and my voice mattered because I was a part of the bottom line. When I realized the guys that were the gatekeepers that looked like me and looked like y'all, they were the real reasons that they were in the way because they didn't even have the intellect or the knowledge of how things were getting done.
Oh, okay. Easy does it.
We switched to Liberty Mutual and saved $652. They customize your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need. With the money we saved, we thought we'd try electric unicycles. Careful, babe. Saving was definitely easier.
Hey, babe, I think I got it. It's actually...
Okay, show off. Oh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I was able to earn my master's degree in 6 months at WGU while working full-time. The competency-based learning made all the difference in the world because I was able to apply what I already know and move through those courses faster. I didn't have to work as hard because I had all this life experience. Having earned my degree at WGU absolutely helped me grow professionally. It can be done with WGU.
So sometimes, bro, the guys that you look up to and the guys you believe know the answers, they really don't. And that's what I want people to take in. It was a self-education part for me, guys. I was having meetings and I was sitting down with guys that I thought was important to getting something done. And they were never the point person. They were never the decision maker. They was just trying to ball a block a guy. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to grease their own palms, fellas. So that was the most.
Hey, a lot of times them blocking you isn't really because they don't really feel you like that is because they don't even want you to know that they don't know what they're talking about.
Facts. Facts.
And that's the thing. So it's just like, oh man, they not blocking me. They actually can't do nothing, but they don't want you to know that they can't do nothing.
It wouldn't be a good look. It wouldn't be a good look, bro.
Exactly.
Sean, I went to you guys heard of Fiverr before, right?
Yeah.
All right, so this was crazy. Fiverr, early on, I had stocks in Fiverr, Spotify. Like I was trying to do some different shit as far as like learning the ins and outs of how that game plays, right? Being a shareholder. So Fiverr had the record labels early on, the last like 10, 12 years, they were selling their services through Fiverr because it was a slick, encrypted way for you not to know who was what and what was what. So I actually went on Fiverr and I started testing out a bunch of these different services. And then that's how I started figuring out who were the program directors and where my records were getting spent at and all types of stuff. There is an underground coalition of program directors that you can send your money to and be top 40 the next day and all types of other shit. Like I haven't been in that scene in about 2-3 years, but I can guarantee that's the way that radio works. It's an underground way to get money to the right people to get your record in rotation tomorrow night. And the program directors is just as responsible for it. The thing that broke my heart is the guy where I'm from, he told me that he could tell I was doing payola because I was getting a lot of support from out of town and doing different shit. He was just mad that I wasn't figuring out a way to strategically do payola with him instead of him strategically figuring out how I could do it with him. You understand what I'm saying? He was frustrated at me for not figuring out how he could get his palms greased instead of being like, just tell me straight up, bro, we from the same hood. Like, you want to get paid? Let's figure out how we get paid. Don't just be cryptic and block my record. And then eventually I didn't need him.
Oh man, that's funny. But there's a couple things I want to go through with you. First, let me tackle a couple of these questions from our programmer, our producer. He said, in your opinion, are bots a necessary evil in the music industry?
1,000,000%. And it's never going nowhere. I think that when people accept it and start figuring out how to strategically use it, it's going to work out better for you. What I will say, Sean, is that, I'm not perfect. The one thing that I did is that I had to rush my campaign. I had a lot of shit going on. So I'll tell you guys the truth of like why it didn't get the Drake status. I had a lot of shit going on. I was just involved in a lot of different things. Meaning that I'd have built my profile guys with social media influencing. I'd have built my shit, man, with my advertising campaigns, and then I'd have let streams be the icing on the cake. Instead, I just wanted to bully everybody with the bots. You get what I'm saying? I'll put my own followers together, my own likes, my own comments, my own streams, and I'll repost my plaques all day long because I'm still getting the royalties. So as long as I was getting paid, bro, as long as bots get you paid, just like us listening to the music, until they can change that, bro, which they never will, fuck them. And I mean that, because that's how the guys is playing the game at the highest level feel. Don't talk to me about steroids until Roger Clemens isn't on steroids. I'm Barry Bonds. Don't tell me not to use steroids when the pitcher's using steroids, bro. Fuck that. Like, let's have that conversation.
I'm glad you've noted that point specifically, because I don't think a lot of people understand that bots are profitable too.
Facts.
For many people. A lot of these, indie artists I'm paying to get 1,000 bots. I'm paying $15 to get it. Like, it's a different type of game. But like when a lot of these bigger artists, I'm not even gonna say some of their names, like are using them, they're using them behind the scenes. Like it's one, they're paying for the bots. So it's the marketing that you're going to get your money back, guaranteed, because the bots are that you're paying for. And then when it gets to a certain level, then we're going to do some other organic marketing. Nobody's even asking questions because I am who I am anyway. So they think I'm supposed to do this number. You know what I'm saying? So like bots make all the sense in the world. Like almost, why would you not do it? Right.
This was funny, right? So this Envy going to see this if he fucks with it, what's not, and it's going to make him think differently, right? So the Breakfast Club happened, they do the donkey today. They're like, yo, we don't even know who Chad Focus is, blah, blah. I put my billboard specifically across the street from Power 105 just so it was something that they would not notice, right? So how unaware are you guys, right? You don't even know how Power 105 is syndicated, how it's getting manipulated, how it's getting around the world. And that's why I like Damon Dash. He came up and he told the guys, like, specifically, we're not bosses. Unless we can call up and our kids got a job tomorrow at this platform, we're not bosses. Like, let's be honest. That day changed the way that I viewed people in the industry. When I created my bot network, one of my first clients, guys, behind the scenes was DJ Envy. Why? Because you are who you are, and you don't know that I'm the young black guy behind the website. You get what I'm saying? When you buying followers and likes and syndication, because it's something that everybody is doing. So people might not know who you are specifically, but they want to know of your work. And I'ma always appreciate the fact that my work succeeds the name, bro. I got a lot of hands behind stuff, right? Right now, to this day, Sean, we do streaming packages for 1 million streams because that's the way to get it done most successfully and for the best bang of your buck. If you're spending $2,500 and Spotify pays you $3,000 in royalties, I want you to spend $2,500 to make $500, build your profile, and continue to get paid and compensated. If you are buying these things almost like the drug game and you buying 1,000 streams here, 10,000 streams here, you can't get the best bang for your buck as a bulk artist. So you got to also boss up. Don't buy the Gucci belt. You know, don't buy none of the Armani or the Miri or none of the sneakers, bro. Invest in what you got going on. Also, the different thing for these artists is that you can get in the game and you can sell these services as an artist. And that's how I really got into the game, into the PR, finding blogs that will repost artists, providing services, building websites. So I also think that's a big part of the artists don't like to do. They don't like to be service-based. And for those that are really successful, they provide the content, the music, and they also provide the service. And that's one of the biggest things I learned in the industry for some of our most successful artists. That's why I love the producers. They artists at heart, bro, but they really producing the music and they writing the music for other artists so they can feed their families consistently.
I love the idea of artists doing services. People ask me that all the time. Should I be a marketer or should I be in the industry at all? Like my whole thing, the way I see it, right? If I was an artist, me doing services is me learning and getting paid to learn on the job. So then I could go apply all that same stuff back to me and do it the right way versus having to waste my money messing up, bumping my head all the time. It doesn't mean you want to like take somebody else's money and mess up with just completely, but you still are going to slowly see things, right? As things open up, you get more opportunities, you get bigger clients. So like, I definitely love the idea of that service-based artist. They're just service-based in anything you do, right? Because we know service is one, it builds goodwill. It allows you to build your brand from a trust and business side, but then at the same time, again, that service allows you to continue to stay in the game until you can get it in the way that you want to get it. So I appreciate you bringing up the service base. One thing I want to make sure like we cover before it's over, we got a good amount of time, but the Agora publishing situation, do you want to go deeper in that? Because I know there was some finessing and things that you didn't understand around you at that age at first, you know what I'm saying? And they were kind of basically making it seem that you were getting into things that you didn't do in the first place. And I don't think we cleared that part up yet as far as our perspective of it.
All right, so we'll break it down. I put it like this, man. As far as like I told you guys, man, a young black dude, bro, in Wall Street, bro. I didn't understand how the financial news world worked at all. All right, I didn't know my worth. All I knew is I had a skill set.
Is your website bounce rate sky high? Find out why with Hotjar. Hotjar shows.
When I started with Agora, man, it's a company of thousands and thousands of people. I'm one of the only guys that look like, you know, us that's in the marketing department and making a lot of money for them. Only a few of us had Amex accounts. And when I came into this, I kind of want to provide the imagery, guys, are like the Wolf of Wall Street. Man, you come in there, it's fast paced. Niggas is doing the cocaine. They got the strippers, like the environment crazy, bro. And you basically a fish out of water. You like, this what it is? So they showing you a lifestyle. But you can't forget, man, that we still young black guys in America. We can't do certain shit that they can do from the jump. And the biggest mistake I made was not joining a company underneath of an LLC and giving myself a layer of protection. Joining a company as an employee, allowing people to upfront you money, and then for you to reimburse them on the back end is probably a very bad decision. Whereas going back in my 20s, I would have created an LLC. I would have had the company hire me through a contractor, and I would have taken the budget up front because I would have had protection for myself to go out and be creative. What they did is that they gave me free range to go out here and make them a lot of money and do a lot of creative stuff. But I didn't do the campaigns, guys, for Agora initially. I did them all for Chad Arrington. So all of the different billboards, all of the different Facebook campaigns, media buys, we purchased them through me because they didn't want it to be associated with the company in case they were blacklisted by your Googles and your Bings and your other network platforms. The marketing industry, bro, has a lot of red tape. Now, if you mess up a campaign or you do something unethical, the fire comes back onto the company. But if you hire a marketing agency Just like what happened with Balenciaga, what can you do? You can blame the marketing agency. So I was the buffer for if things ever went wrong with Agora. I'm the guy that was using bots for them through their company account cards, so that when Google came and tried to blacklist them, or you had the Can Spam Act or different type of agencies like the FTC, they would have a fall guy. I never realized this. So that's why it lasted for 8 years. I was there from 2011 to 2018. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of budgets, guys, as far as paid acquisitions, botting, services, backlinks, all types of search engine type stuff. And I was in a relationship as far as partners with the CEOs of the companies. And they gave me free range to do whatever I wanted as long as they made tons and tons of money. And guys, we made billions of dollars. But I should have been a billionaire. I shouldn't have just been a millionaire. I think the real reason why the shit that I was doing lasted so long was because they couldn't figure out how to have a case against me without also compromising themselves. And that's why when you see Chad Focus steals from unnamed company, somehow, some way, I don't know how that shit got pulled off, because there's no way nobody, you understand what I'm saying? It just was an amazing situation, because they were, of course, bro, plugged in with somebody. It's no way that happens, bro, that you get protected. But what I did find out is that they were getting investigated by the FTC. The traffic that I helped bring these guys in, they were selling false advertising and Ponzi scheme products to their clientele. You can go check it out right now. You can type it in Google, Agora FTC. They had a multi-million-dollar case that they lost because they were stealing money from the senior clients. And then I got hit with the same case as Chad Focus stealing money from them. And so that was like dope. Their story was back page news. My story was the front page viral news everywhere.
Man, that's a lot. It's interesting because, like, again, not only from the way you're telling it, right? Not only were you not stealing money, you were spending money on their behalf to push their company.
Thanks.
But the narrative is specifically towards spending money towards your music. So how does that even come up? Like, how does the connection of you and music and that money even happen? Was it somebody looking for a narrative so they can figure out how we can make this sound like it?
Well, I think I specifically, fellas, think it was genius because the headline of me stealing money don't make you ask no other questions. Like, that shit is so fucking ridiculous to hear that story about me. Who cares about what else is behind that? Who cares who the company is or what's going on? Like, that's a headline I've never heard before. You get what I'm saying? That's some shit that nobody ever heard before. How one does a rapper get access to that type of money? How, if it's an Amex account, guys, and you know that got to be paid off every month, how does this go undetected for years and years and years? The whole situation was bonkers, bro. And I had to really go sit down for the 2 years I was away and just kind of digest it. Because it's us, and it's because of people that got this skin color, and I don't want to make it a racial thing, bro. Certain stuff that just make absolutely no sense, bro, it flies for us. That's absolutely ridiculous. Now, when you celebrate, like I said, a Wolf of Wall Street and what he did to his clientele and how he got rich, and we sensationalize that, that's one thing. When you demonize a young black guy, bro, and say that he stole all this money from these corporate companies, and you're looking at what Donald Trump and these guys are doing each and every day, I thought that more people that look like us was going to get on the internet and kind of be like, yo, something ain't right. I did think that people was going to get on their platforms, like I say, a Charlemagne and certain people, and be like, yo, this ain't sounding right. This ain't adding up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we got the voices, we got the platforms to speak up and be like, yo, something happened with that brother that don't make sense. And I don't know, Sean, man, to this day, bro, it's still weird, bro. And like I said, the guys that I was working with, all of the young white brothers that was executives, man, they got immunity. None of them was ever charged, man. You see, I got an entire case. There is no YSL as part of my case. There's no me telling on anybody. It's me pleading out to a wire fraud conspiracy, which I didn't plead out to wire fraud. I didn't plead out to that identity theft, which if those were cases, they're not going to drop those in a federal situation. And I got out of prison, in 2 years at the multi-million-dollar worth of supposed fraud. You understand what I'm saying? So, bro, we all know shit was shaky.
At Frontgate, we have the world's best outdoor furniture. So that means all you need to do is suit up, dive in, and make sure you have plenty of refreshments. From pool essentials to patio seating and dining, we have you covered. So go on and get your summer on with Frontgate.
I have actually been a customer of BetterHelp for a little over 2 years now, and I was able to get matched up with a therapist in like 24 hours, 48 hours. They ask you questions about what you would like from a therapist, if there's any particular specialties that you would like. Me personally, I really prefer to have a Black woman therapist, preferably not too much older than myself, and I was able to find that.
But it's the game, bro. They said Irv Gotti was funding Murder Inc. With Supreme money. Like, this is the type of shit that they hit us with, and people believe it, and it just comes with the territory. You feel me? Think about it, bro.
I mean, yeah, the fact you throw that in there, that's funny. That's funny. What's your perspective of that situation since you mentioned that one?
Yo, I'll tell you this. The documentary was dope, right? Like, getting to see the documentary, watching it with on the compound with all the homies. Like, prison is a weird experience, man. It's a weird experience. The people on the inside love the guys from our culture that have overcome some of the, the biggest injustices. So I'm a Irv Gotti fan forever, bro. I think that he was at the height of what he was doing, but I also know that we guilty by association. So you can come back and put yourself in position, and if you try to put other people in position and it don't match up to the vision of the higher ups, they gonna shoot you down, bro. So Irv felt like he was too powerful, and they had to come and humble him. And I'll be honest with you, Chad Focus thought that he was extremely powerful, bro. When you got all that intellect and all these resources, you don't realize, that you're a millionaire today and you could be dead broke tomorrow. Almost like what they did to Kanye West. You could be a billionaire on Tuesday, bro, and be worth $400 million on Thursday. And that just goes to show you, bro, that, we still ain't at a place yet, bro, where we can go ahead and, speak freely and move freely. We got to still be very cautious of our platforms and everything that we got going on, bro.
It was a mouthful there on that one, especially bringing in the Kanye situations. I mean, look, you brought him in there, and I see the analogy, but going through what you've gone through, obviously you view a lot of these situations differently at this point. So What were you thinking throughout the whole Kanye thing? Not necessarily was he right and wrong in some moments or certain things, but just as a whole, how did you digest what was happening?
It's bittersweet, bro, because I went to an all-white college, and I done had more white kids call me a nigga and talk crazy and disrespect me, and me had to turn the other cheek. You understand what I'm saying? I had more white cops pull me over for being in a BMW or a Tesla for absolutely no reason. You understand what I'm saying? So I've experienced oppression and racism and all those different things. And what I know that Kanye West and Kyrie thought that they were doing is they thought that their freedom of speech was going to allow them to kind of have a pass. It don't work like that for us. And I'm not getting into the specifics of what he was saying. We just not allowed to go on platforms and speak freely. Everything that we're saying, bro, is going to be judged and is going to be criticized, not for what is right, not just for where you're making a point, but for going against the status quo. And you got to know better. And like I said, I learned my lesson, bro. It's certain things that I should have never said. It's certain things I should have never done. And am I comfortable with being either blacklisted or blackballed? For me, it was bigger. It's a bigger impact at hand. I'm already financially stable, so I don't know that being famous in the industry and having a bunch of industry friends and stuff like that, it was never for that for me. So I think Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, bro, they got different agendas, bro. And it's tough because you hear so many people be like, yo, you gotta chill out. Like when Puff Daddy came and did the interview, I don't know, man. How y'all feel, bro? It's tough. I just say it's tough, bro, because freedom of speech, isn't for everybody. It's not, especially not for us. We can't say and do any and everything. We got certain restrictions, and we can lose our spots really quick.
Yeah, man. I think that when it comes down to it, like you said, it's not even about the specifics, right? Because there could be, you can be saying something wrong or doing something wrong, but the leeway is different, right? And you have to understand what the power really looks like. And I think some people get into positions and they feed off of the success, right? They feed off of their own intellect and ego. And sometimes it's harder to see the power of others when you feel so powerful. You know what I mean? And you misjudge things because I know a lot of people like to say, oh yeah, Kanye had this whole thing mapped out and from the beginning, and he was just trying to get out his deal. Like I would love the superhero story, and I think it's a little bit complex and more simple than that, right? It's just a situation that was a little bit beyond him. It doesn't mean he can't bounce back, right?
Right.
That's completely different than I planned this from the beginning, and that's the part that I feel like people who like to constantly follow the genius level, the sheep genius narrative, like the sheep mentality, just like, yeah, it's always winning, he can't win it. You actually missed the real story and the real lesson. All right, no, something really did happen over there. And also, yeah, you can bounce back if you have the talent, you know, the perseverance, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I think there's situations like that where it's hard to detect the other animals in the room. You know what I mean? When you win so much that you almost in the dark, and then when you spark something and that flame lights up around you in the dark room.
This might sound a little bit crazy, but if you have the YouTube app on your phone, you could actually be using it to create a new passive income stream for yourself without ever creating your own videos or even starting your own YouTube channel. This is because there's actually a loophole that exists in the YouTube app that allows you to make money from other people's videos, meaning videos that other YouTubers have already uploaded for you. This means that you can actually make YouTuber money in as little as 7 days without ever having.
And you start to see them other figures in the room. It's like, oh snap, I didn't realize exactly what was going on. So that's kind of how I view that situation. But switching gears real quick to go a little bit back to streaming, the major streaming platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music, right?
Thanks.
Now, I don't want to go too deep into like what have they done to combat streams, because we know it's not really all that serious. But the idea of shadow banning, how do you view shadow banning, knowing what you know when it comes to like Spotify and getting rid of tracks, or even shadow banning on social media in general? How do you view it?
All right, period, point blank period. You can get shadow banned on your Instagram, your Facebooks, your YouTubes. Like, that's a thing. That's really a thing. Now, we all understand as marketers that these platforms is only going to give us so much reach organically. They really here, bro, for you to put advertising dollars into their platforms. Point blank period. We can't get around that conversation. Nobody really want to talk about it, even TikTok. You will be spending money to get your content shown to the people that's on their platform. Let's just get around that. Now, if you can find these loopholes and tweak stuff and make stuff happen, cool. My best advice to you is that while it's working and it's early on, build your own list. Build your own list of people that you can market to, that you can communicate with on a daily. Figure out how to use your email and your SMS. The way that the Spotify stuff works, guys, is that they will ban you. They'll ban your records. And like I told you, you can still work with your metadata, but the only way to get around it is to partner with the majors. So if you want to come and play that game and you want to play it to a certain type of level, you just got to know your limitations. You got to know that if you aren't with an Interscope or an Atlantic or you know, your Republic, if you do certain things or certain, you know, strategic marketing methods, they could ban your entire profile in your song and forever. If you're an independent artist and you never want your name to show up on Spotify ever again, you'll be very, very careful and know what you're doing and know who you're working with before you do such things. Apple Music, not the same way right now, guys. Tidal, not the same way. You already see Tidal went through a lot of stuff early on as far as like their own streaming inflations and all that other stuff. The real reason why Spotify has to have so much control because they own the biggest network share of all of this streaming stuff. And they the only one that got the free platform. So that's the only one that you can get a free account and go listen to the music. You get what I'm saying? And that's why Spotify is the one that has to deal with the most of the craziness. People don't really play with Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, Napster, and stuff like that. Me personally, I do. I got a lot of paid accounts. I got a lot of resources, but that's not the kind of game that most artists are privy to. They just out here trying to game the Spotify and YouTube, they free platforms. So it's a real thing. Just be careful, man. It's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought of it like that, right? Like you broke it down to if you're an artist gaming Spotify specifically, the dangers are then real because they already, one, have so much in place to detect it, but then two, it's like, you know, like you said, they're trying to protect their reputation at this point. They don't want more, probably like more use popping up, you know what I'm saying? Like for real. So when you're running these these bot campaigns with these different artists, is that something that you stress? Like, is it like, hey, I know you want to work at Spotify, but we really need to hit
bro,
these
100,
9
100,000%. And the reason why I tell you that is because, like what Sean was saying, if you get into the industry and you can kind of do the marketing and learn, I learned at my own dime. So what you come to Chad Focus for is his expertise and his 2-year prison sentence and all the bullshit he been through. Like, you come to me for my pain, so you don't got to go through that same pain. And that's why that's real love for me. You can buy my pain, so you don't got to go through it. This what works. This what don't work. This how you want to do it. And if you do want to go through the wild, wild west, yo, bro, these the consequences. You looking at a 7 to 10 year sentence. You looking at losing your home, your cars, your house, your reputation. Like, I try to give the homies the game, bro. And I want them to know that somebody do care and that somebody actually been where they've been at. So for me, Sean, I was always the marketer that kind of told them, like, this might work, this might not work, this is what you should do. Now they see me as one of them. I'm the artist who did it at the highest levels. I did it at the worst levels, best levels, and I'm transparent and I tell the truth. So you can't, my place solidified. Even major artists, when they leave in the label, they got to contact me. Everybody that sees the Vice TV, whether you know or don't know, you like, yo, let me go ahead and see it, bro, actually know what he's talking about. So for me, bro, I think that being a case study and seeing what work and don't work gives me one up as far as the industry. And I get to work with amazing guys like y'all, man, where, you know, we link up and we talk and we go ahead and strategize and we navigate because you guys got a big following and y'all help out a lot of artists. And the goal is just to see the artists win. We know the industry won't win. We know we can't beat them, but we do want to make more of us win and get a chance to sit at the table.
Yeah, got you. How much did, if you feel like disclosing it, but like, how much did that Vice doc grow your business? Because I remember like 2 years ago, there was a guy that Billboard did like an expose piece on around bots, and like everybody was like, "Oh, it's gonna like ruin this guy," and then he like came out like a week or two later, like, "No, this is the best thing that ever happened to me." You know what I'm saying? Like, it ruined my credibility within indie artists, but then within major labels, I 10x down there overnight. So did you experience like a similar effect, like bad branding for the people that don't understand it, but I'm assuming like the right people start to look you up?
To be honest with you, bro, I never had so many apologies. It got to the point where I told the homies, I'm like, yo, you don't got to apologize. Like,